Welcome to my second video log for In My Mailbox. You got to see me making an idiot of myself last week and I've come back for a second time. First up in my mailbox, I'm going to show you 3 books that I bought which were recommended to me by Kerry Staten, who is a young adult author who has recently had her second book published called Jessie Hart's NYC. Definitely worth a read, very enjoyable. If you like reading about Manhattan and places like that, then this book is for you. Now, she knows I'm a bit disorganised and I needed some books that would help me be a little bit more organised with my time, and she recommended the following 3 books which I went out and bought. First one up is How to Do Everything and Be Happy by Peter Jones. This one has a recommendation to have the occasional Boxing Day in your life, a day where you just basically do what you want to do. You get up and do whatever comes to mind. You don't plan it, you don't have to do any of those routine and crappy jobs that you end up always doing every other day. So this book is very, very good. Next one up is Wishcraft. Now, Keris and I spoke about this one by Barbara Sher. I actually read this quite a few years ago and it was very, very helpful then, so I'm quite happy to be going back to reading this one again. It's actually celebrating its 30th anniversary, so it must work. Another one also recommended by Keris is Martha Beck's Finding Your Own North Star. Martha Beck is an international best-selling author, and it's how to help you work out what you really want to do with your life and how to achieve it. Now, I know what I want to do with my life, I just need someone to organise me so I can do it. So there you go, those 3. On Wednesday evening, I had the pleasure of taking part in the Oxford University Press evening, where myself and quite a few other book bloggers got to meet Dave Cousins, who is a debut author coming out in February 2012, and Joss Sterling, who you might know from Finding Sky and her new book which just come out called Stealing Phoenix. Here's Stealing Phoenix. This is the finished cover. This is the second book in the trilogy. If you haven't met the Benedict brothers yet, then you really need to read this series. Finding Sky, go get that first and then buy this one second because it's fabulous. And as I just mentioned earlier, Dave Cousins, who's bringing out a book called 15 Days Without a Head. Now, Dave won the Undiscovered Voices for 2010, and after reading the first 50 pages of this book, I can see why. How he has never been published before, I don't know, because his writing is very fresh, very original, and just fantastic what I've read of it so far. This is based on a story of 2 children whose mothers actually left them to it, basically. Definitely worth a read. Quite heart-wrenching what I've read so far, but very, very good. At the Oxford University Press evening, we were also given an arc of Matt Dickinson's Mortal Chaos. I don't know a lot about this one. I'll read you what it says on the back. Heart-stopping, high adrenaline adventure from Everest climber and filmmaker Matt Dickinson. I think this is going to be one of those edge of your seat kind of books. So that comes out in February next year. Now, I also got to go along to the Bloomsbury event where we got to spend the afternoon with Mary Hooper, who writes historical fiction in YA. Recently I reviewed Velvet and Fallen Grace, which are both her books. So we got, as you can see, that's Velvet there, and we've got that signed by Mary. Fantastic. She was a lovely lady, very interesting lady to talk to. I loved learning about how she does all her research because her books are just full of detail and very, very authentic. You almost feel like you're stepping back into Victorian times when you read her books. Definitely ones to get young girls into if they're not interested in history. I think they would love this, just to try to change their mind. So that's Velvet that we have there. We were also given an omnibus edition of 2 of her books, which is now called The Fever and the Flame. The 2 books in here are At the Sign of the Sugar Plum and its thrilling sequel, Petals in the Ashes. So that's another 2 historical fiction books of Mary Hooper's that I haven't read, so I'm looking forward to that. We were also given some other ARCs, which I think some people already know about. Fracture by Megan Miranda. That looks really exciting. This is about a young girl who's pulled out of the icy waters of a frozen lake and her heart has stopped beating. She's announced officially dead, but then she starts breathing again. This comes out in January 2000. I'm quite excited. The actual cover looks brilliant. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let's see if you can see the cover. Can you see that cover? Brilliant. We were also given The Weight of Water by Sarah Crosshand. Now what I like about this book is, you can see, it's all in verse. I've read books by Lisa Schreiber, Chasing Brooklyn, which was all in verse, and it's really, really good. You feel more emotional when you're reading a book all in verse, so I'm really looking forward to trying this one. This comes out in January, and for fans of Jacqueline Wilson, Sharon Creech, Mark Haddon and John Boyne, this is the book for you. We were also given In Darkness by Nick Lake. This is a book that is basically a thriller. Trapped beneath the rubble of the Haitian earthquake in 2010, a teenage boy is terrified, desperate and alone. How exciting. He is alive and he's trying to get out. So that looks brilliant. That comes out, I'm not sure on the date on that. I believe it's next year, but I'll have to come back to you and tell you the official date for that one. And a new book and a new design. Let's see if I can find you. You can see the cover there. Can you see that? Celia Rees. This is Not Forgiveness. This is due out next year, and it's a brilliant, controversial and unsettling book. It's a lot different from what she's written before, I think, so I'm really quite excited about that one. If you're looking for historical YA fiction, Mary Hooper and Celia Rees have got a very, very good selection for you to read. Now, I also got sent some books. One I'm really excited about is called The Snow Child, and this is by, I can't pronounce her name, so I'm going to say Elwyn Ivy. I may have pronounced that wrong. The author recommendation at the back with the blurb was written by Ali Shaw, who wrote The Girl with the Glass Fleet, which was one of my favourite reads from 2009, I believe, when that came out. This is an Alaskan fairy tale. I'm so excited. This book has real magic in it, and it takes us to the Alaskan frontier, and it's based on an old fairy tale. So exciting stuff. Hey, this comes out with Headline next year in February, and this book's going to be big. So there you go. And it's aimed at adults as well as children, so it's more of a crossover novel. Headline also sent me the new book by Kathy Brett, Verity Fibs. Now, Kathy Brett is an amazing author and illustrator. Check out some of these pictures in here. She draws all these pictures herself. Her books are just so interesting to read, and with all the different ways that they're set out. Can you see that? If you haven't read any Kathy Brett, or you've got reluctant readers, especially in girls, Kathy Brett's an excellent author to choose. She's also got Ember Fury and Scarlet Dead out, so for your reluctant readers, go for Kathy Brett. I also got sent The House of Wind by Titania Hardy. Now, Titania Hardy I know as being a white witch, but I don't think she goes under that title anymore because she's now writing fiction, but she used to write spell books about 10 years ago. So this is her second book in fiction writing. Her first one was A Rose Labyrinth, and this is coming out with Headline next year. So I'm really quite excited about that. Actually, I'm lying, it's coming out now. So if you're interested in this, it's a historical document set in 1347. So can't wait. Really excited. So that is in my mailbox this week, and I'm going to stop it before the 10 minutes run out. So see you soon. Bye.